Progressive Patriot, or no, dead Progressive, reporting to you live. Sorry, still getting used to the new moniker here. Remember, the new name is because I no longer at all recognize the left or progressive base as it is seen today, so I have chosen the name Dead Progressive. There seems to be a lot of confusion regarding that. This current live is a direct result of something that I think is going to be pretty viral. It's going to be all over the place, and just expect that. There's a great documentary available on the, was it Netflix or was it HBO Max? One of the two. First, I'd like to just remind anybody from back, if you're around my age, you remember all of the same shows that we all grew up with, right? Back in the day, with Nickelodeon when it was at its zenith. Okay, we had all that, the Amanda Show. That was programming for the first time being created for kids by kids with one man at the helm. What's up, bass girl? Hey, Bree. Welcome. Saying hello. Shabbat shalom. I hope anybody that sees this does take the time to go ahead and watch the very documentary that I've mentioned. I'm trying to remember the name, but if you just look up Dan Schneider, he is known for being one of the brainchilds of so many massively successful shows. What's up, C-Fouls? Good to see you, bro. So I don't know. I mean, because of the internet, thanks to the internet. So props to for a change. Props to YouTube and platforms like it for shining a light on individuals like this. Let me get this just in case. I mean, it is the image on my thumbnail. This is what Dan Schneider looks like now. I do have a clip that I found, which is a somewhat of a compilation of moments that were very questionable. I'm trying to stay on an even keel when I go on the inevitable rant here. All right, like, I think given hindsight, he did some monstrous things that are inexcusable. He is not the guy that, like, all right, for one, let's just get this real straight, okay? We're talking about a lot of shows where the cast is 98% children, okay? A lot of those kids from that time, from all that, Amanda Bynes, she's a complete train wreck. The Ariana Grande? She was on one of his shows at the age of 13, and the clips that I saw on this documentary that were put as extra clips on the Nickelodeon's website, it's pretty crazy to see what the mainstream was allowing under everybody's noses. And it just to me, it's just like, okay, Hollywood is just doing Holly weird crap again, always at the cost of kids. But here's a part. Okay, since Dan Schneider, the guy you're going to be hearing, Dan Schneider all day, all night, for the next 2 weeks until the next hot button issue or expose comes up, because that's just the world we live in. Let me play this clip because he went immediately into apology mode. Allow me to point out, during the hashtag #MeToo movement in 2014-15, he did not have to really answer to any of the very disturbing, strange behavior and allegations. He got to get fired, or he denies getting fired. He definitely got fired after an investigation into his behavior, creating a toxic environment. Nickelodeon gave him $7 million, and that was his punishment, to no longer work for Nickelodeon. But hey, bud, here's looking at you. Here's $7 million. Love it, man. So, okay, let's start with this part because this part is there was three. Okay, no, there's two major criminals that were working on this man's show. Now, in this whole apology, it's this is a setup. This is a staged. It's so obvious from the beginning throughout all the way to the end. This is staged. This was pre-planned. The host, who is somebody that was definitely handpicked to show, because there was allegations that Dan Schneider wasn't that friendly to the black community. There was allegations that he hated women, so he gets the black guy to who they had a positive history. And look, this guy did help bring Keenan and Kel to stardom and all that, right? But whatever the case, talking about this one guy, and here's a bomb that's dropped in that very documentary. I didn't watch this show, Drake and Josh, but I know it was popular back in the day. I know that much. In that expose documentary, all right, trigger warning, it's absolutely deplorable, stomach churning. Drake was being SA'd. He was being assaulted in every which way that a child should never know. Shouldn't, like, it's grotesque. He Drake himself appears in like the third episode, all grown up, and he went down a very dark path. Uh, let me play the clip, and then I'll explain.
What do you need?
So after it became obvious that this individual, I'm trying to remember his name real quick, Brian Cap, who is known as Pickle Boy on on this guy's show back in the day, early 2000s, lots of weird jokes. He groomed and took advantage and did things that I can't articulate. They're so bad, so disgusting, and it took way too long for this man Brian Cap to get caught. Now, what we're gonna hear, the one good thing that's mentioned in the documentary is how Dan Schneider here did call Drake after it all came out and said, if there's anything you need, I'm here. And when they went to court, Dan Schneider didn't go to the court, but when Drake and his family went to court to testify because the guy confessed and on a recorded line, this complete freak, there was about 50 people on the side of the Play-Doh assaulting monster who admitted to his guilt of doing inexcusable, indefensible things to a child. 50 people, and the majority of them were famous, are famous, powerful. They wrote letters to the judge to be lenient. And you're gonna hear it as I just heard it for the first time, and I am absolutely beside myself. So check this out. This one's not on Dan. He didn't hire the guy, but they were best of buds.
Drake mentioned in the show that we watched last night. And next, I heard that he went to court when this guy was being tried, Peck. And when Drake walked in, he
Brian Peck
saw 50 people sitting on the side of the courtroom supporting Peck. A lot of them pretty famous. Of course, Drake was devastated that happened. And even more disappointing, 41 of those people wrote letters for Peck, character letters, praising him for who he was and asking for leniency. And they knew that he was guilty. They knew he had confessed to some degree, and they still did this. That's baffling that adults would do that.
Yeah.
And I don't know if people know.
I'd love a list of the 41 individual, hell, all 50 of the adults, especially the ones with any form of notoriety or that get to benefit off of the fame that they currently still have or did. I'd love a list of those people that defended a known Play-Doh SA individual. I mean, I'm gonna say it without saying it. Like, it goes as far as like taking an object and using it on Drake when he was 15. Okay, and it gets so much worse than that. Like, it's deplorable.
This.
And talk about shadow cabals, man. Hollywood, they're right in your face and still worshipped. They're still making their bread. They're still wealthy off of the fruits of their labor, which ain't shit. And I don't know how it continues to be a cycle that's never broken.
But Drake's mom, a lovely woman who I stay in contact with this day, she came to me at the time. And
I want you to tell me if you think this part is real or not. What this emotion. Remember, I do, my own personal opinion, believe that this was staged. It is a 19-minute quick little cleanup job to attack the allegations while they're fresh, right? And don't worry, I haven't even begun about Dan Schneider, the king of the hill, back at that time. Where right now we were talking about Peck, but I mean, the clips speak for themselves. This man had one. They had like a Fear Factor for kids. Nickelodeon wanted that, and so Dan Schneider took the reins, and he would come up with these ideas. And one of those ideas was to take one of the children and the dare. Who came up with this shit? The dare was to have and it was one of the black kids covered in peanut butter from head to toe. He was in a skin tight outfit, which the kid who is now an adult talks about it in the documentary. Okay, can't remember the name for the time being, but I promise you can find it. And so he's covered in peanut butter. Once again, head to toe, lays down on the floor, and then they let about 8 to 10 dogs come out and lick the peanut butter off of this child's body with his skin tight clothing that matches the color of him. And you can hear the audio of this child saying, "I am not comfortable with this." It's and that was, some executive was like, "All right, yep, air it." What the hell? Dan Schneider here was super close to Amanda Bynes. There's so much footage of her just leaning all over him. He would every day on every set, and this man was on a lot of sets for the better part of over 10 plus years, if not more, would always every single day in his little director's chair, or the man in charge's chair, have a girl, child, or woman from wardrobe massage his head or his back and his neck and shoulders every single day while he was watching everything get shot for a show. So there's that. He also clearly has a little Tarantino thing going on. Now, at least Tarantino, keeps it with adult women's feet. Dan Schneider has all you got to do is Google or YouTube Dan Schneider feet. This dude clearly has a strange obsession with feet, children's feet, girls' feet, and it's all over the place. He had Ariana Grande, put her foot in her mouth, and that, and there's so many different scenes where there's this pointless foot massaging, rubbing, or focus. There's a lot of shots where it looks like a piece out of an adult film, where there's something of a gooey substance that gets thrown in the face of a child, and they do a close up. And this man is sitting here feigning innocence, and it's so strategic how they kept the part where this I wasn't the one that went away to prison for doing the essay on Drake. I said, hey man, I'm here for you, huh? Strategized. Let me see this part before I show a clip, because I just learned the part that I saw that it's frozen on. It's just more evidence.
And she said, Dan, I'm not good with words like you are. And would you help me with my speech for the judge? And I said, of course. And I did. He said,
like how the camera pans away. I'm calling total malarkey on this being genuine. I know men don't cry, right? It's not an easy thing, or it comes out awkward. But for me, calling BS on this one.
Dan, I'm not good with words like you are. And would you help me with my speech for the judge? And I said, of course. And I did. And he ended up going to prison and serving his time.
Here's the part that makes me outraged and literally question reality. Get ready. I didn't know this. This I just found out. And it was after I heard this part that I'm like, I'm going live. Had no intention of it, but this right here. So listen good. Let's get the volume up for this. Screw it. Because it just shows you Hollywood, when it comes to this crap that outrages your common sense human being, individual, adult, person with, I don't know, morality, integrity, all the things, right? The things that outrage us. Just, you get a pass in Hollywood. So check this out. Brian Peck did 6 years, did his time. Check out what happened after he did his time, after he got busted doing the worst possible things for way too long to that poor child Drake.
And yeah, that was probably the darkest part of my career. And here's the kicker that I really don't get. After he got out of prison and was, to my knowledge, a registered sex offender, he was hired on a Disney Channel show. I don't understand that. I never,
So networks like Nickelodeon and the Disney Channel, they don't do background checks of any kind. All right, the other guy, yes, the other guy that went to prison. What was it? He got busted for having over 17,000 items of inappropriate stuff. I don't know how else to put it gently here. And they found that he had Ziploc bags with names on them. All of them had items, including the undergarments of a of a single-digit-year-old child. Okay, 9-year-old girl. He had her undergarments in a plastic bag. He had all of these horrible pictures and acts on his computer. He had Polaroids. I don't even know how long this guy went away for either. Like this, after watching this documentary, it's called On the Set or Off the Set. Off the Set. And I'm just not certain. I think it's HBO Max. Please watch it. I'm going to put it in the description. People need to just, all of the stuff that I rant about, I'm convinced in my heart, because it bothers me as much as it does. I'm convinced that it bothers everybody, because we're all human. If I feel this way, you have to feel this way, right? You have a heart. I have a heart. We know children are to be protected, right? So if more people will just watch the documentary and hear the things that go on, and how these people are recycled, just like Catholic priests, where they get sent to an island like a freaking vacation and get back in rotation. They just end up on a different, more obscure, faraway land where the press can't really get too much attention on them and put their names back into the circulation of newspapers. Right? So it's the same system. We got Hollywood, we got the Catholic Church, all just, hey, giving work to all the people that do all of the terrible things to the most vulnerable, sacred population in the world. In the world. And they are given a pass and a paycheck and a job. All right. This clip here, I saw a little bit of this. Here's one of the things, like, back in the day when we were kids, like, I didn't watch this stuff. I did watch all that. I was in middle school when I watched all that, which was Dan Schneider's first show. But check this out. This was one of the jokes that he brought this stranger on who has a British accent. Check it out. I learned this today.
Episode of iCarly when this British guy came on the...
We need a little bit more volume because things need to be heard. I'm going to mess with the settings on this microphone in the very near future, by the way. All right, check it out. Listen.
Show and called everyone a bunch of hobknockers.
I swear you're all just a bunch of hobknockers. Hobknockers? I'm going...
So I looked up what it meant on Urban Dictionary, and what is this show?
So apparently, Urban Dictionary. Okay, anyway, a person who seedless grapes or touches animals, someone who hits you in the face with their member. So that slipped on by, and so did so many other things. Amanda Bynes had a character that Dan Schneider created who was supposed to be obsessed with the actual Amanda on her own show, and they gave her the last name Taint, and it was a big, hilarious, like, inside joke thing. There was this really disturbing scene where that sicko Brian Peck, the pickle boy, Ray Romano was a guest, and he was hungry. Ray Romano, everybody loves Raymond or whatever the hell it's called. He's in the dressing room and they're doing a skit. He's like, I'm starving. Does anybody have food? And Pickle Boy, creepiest looking dude ever, carries around a giant, like, bouquet of pickles and sticks it through what cannot be mistaken for anything other than a freaking glory hole. That was on the television in 2003. For kids. All right, we're gonna see new stuff together right now. I haven't gone this far. Is there no volume on perp? Okay. Okay, there's no volume on this, but here's more feet fetish stuff. These are kids. Look, see? Why is the audio gone? But look at you see what I'm talking about here.
Sometimes I wonder if you can get juice.
This is Ariana Grande, 13 years old. I have some issues playing this. This is on the documentary. Trigger warning. Okay, this is what was being aired. How does a whole, like, executives and a giant I'm using stupid words. How could a giant company entrusted with our children's imaginations and sense of humor be subject to this and nobody, say, huh? Check it out.
From a potato.
What do you have there? What does it do?
There, if you don't know, that's Drake. All right, he ended up getting his own spin-off show, which is all any of these kids wanted. From all that, they were hoping one of their characters would get popular enough, and they would all pander to Dan. Dan was king of the castle. Everybody was afraid of Dan Schneider. And in his pathetic apology video, he makes like a smidgen of a good case, but it's just the fact that it's so obviously staged. Not enough, bud. Not enough. He's hoping to break back in to Hollywood. We can't let that happen. These people with their power and their money, they've got to learn, and they got to learn by example. Their friends, their Epsteins, okay? Consequences must occur and be visual to the masses. Somebody's got to be able to, let's say, that saying, who watches the watchmaker, or how does it go? Who watches the watchman? All right. Well, when it comes to who polices the police, when it comes to who puts away people in power, I don't think I have a concrete answer to that question, because people in power always have the cards stacked in their favor, and power and money is always the get out of jail free card, because money ain't a thing. So what's a little bit of dough?
She's a star, so she gets she gets a big spitball shooter thing. Yes, yeah. She gets the extra handy dandy equipment. I want hey. No, hey, wait. Can we get a close up of this?
Oh yeah. Most of this footage is Dan Schneider himself. He would walk around. He was behind the 8 ball. This was during the internet just coming to fruition. He was all over that, and all the devices, and getting cameras and uploading stuff. So this was always him recording. Always. I wonder if this is going to show where he had Amanda Bynes in a bathing suit, and he's fully clothed, sitting in a jacuzzi, conducting an interview about how great he is. They gave that man $7 million to go away. Truth is always more horrifying than fiction.
Amanda, demonstrate. Spitball in front of them.
It's like there's all the pipe and you get a gallon of fresh spit, and then you a little part in this thing, my jig, and then you spit, then you have the jig, and then you spit right there, and then you blast it.
Creepy, fucking creepy, man. Because they did this every day. Dan was hoping Amanda Bynes would be his introduction into the more mainstream Hollywood, because he felt not stuck in Nickelodeon because he was so successful. Nickelodeon made this man nearly in charge of all of it, everything. All right. They gave him a Lifetime Achievement Award. But, like, how does this go on day after day after day? And the other guy, the Brian Peck piece of crap, there's footage of him on the set of Growing Pains groping Leonardo DiCaprio when he was a child. Like, oh, here, check the, I have to go full screen for this part, because you have to listen. Hear this. Hear me, okay? There is a part, Drake's father, who could call the fact that Brian Peck was a complete pervert and something was off, something was wrong, the way he was calling his son every single day obsessively, and wanted to be around him 24/7. So he brings up to the people at Nickelodeon that work there, I don't want my son around Brian Peck. It makes me uncomfortable. He makes me uncomfortable. This is what somebody unnamed, said to the father, who you got to see him on this documentary. he said, well, so after I said that, one of the people that works at the on the set or Nickelodeon simply said, "Oh, well, he is homosexual, so he's just a little more touchy feely. So maybe you're homophobic and that's your problem." And then he was ostracized because he expressed his concern about the man who was exposed to be a complete monster, pervert, criminal, felon. So, because the man with the intuition for his own son was able to see something was wrong, and he expressed that, he was labeled a homophobe, and that he was treated like a nothing shadow person on set. So you see how that works already? I'm sorry, this is the way no, I'm not sorry. I'm never sorry about this shit. The way it works when it comes to this stuff, even politically speaking, okay? I make these points very, very often. LGBTQIA, okay, with how it's all going, how radical and crazy it is in the schools. Slowly, slippery slope to the MAP community, as we have discussed. Okay, because apparently pointing out that a grown ass man is way too friendly with your child makes you a homophobe. Do you see how that works? That strategy? Absolutely deplorable. Absolutely painstakingly deplorable. Let's reluctantly see. Let's see.
Throat is my instrument. I'm a throat player.
Doesn't count.
And it sounds kind of gross.
More feet porn. Okay, just making sure you guys can see. More Dan Schneider feet porn. That's, yeah. Just how... Oh, music. Okay, can't do the music thing. So here's just, look, Dan Schneider with all the kids. Oh yeah, I was talking about one of the other creep that got put away. This poor girl that wanted nothing more than to just be on one of Nickelodeon's shows because that was her dream. She was 13 years old. There was a guy who was in charge of telling all of the kids where to go, in charge of staying in touch with all of the parents, and also spending time with them and buddying up with them. He started. This is the one with the plastic bags with all the paraphernalia and all that disturbing crap that got him put away. Sorry, I almost had a Biden moment, but I will not succumb to this. Okay. He begins emailing the 12 or 13-year-old girl. She had one appearance on the show, and this creep piece of crap starts corresponding via email, and the mother, who hates herself for allowing that to happen, everybody was fooled. The guy looks like the whole typical, like a Mormon, like the the dude, the boy next door kind of a thing. After I don't know how many emails with a 12 or 13-year-old, he sent a picture of himself groping himself fully in the buff with the title "Thinking of You." The mother walked in on the daughter right at the moment where she saw that, and she quickly, the daughter, the little girl, the child, turned off her computer immediately and ran up the stairs and closed the door, locked it. And the mom, not seeing what was on the computer to cause this reaction, went up and was like, what's the matter, honey? And this poor girl, traumatized for life, was just crying and crying, and in that moment completely gave up on ever wanting to work on Nickelodeon or Hollywood ever again. So this okay. Well, let's see what they're at with the audio here. I hope that little snippet of music doesn't get a freaking copyright.
Music. How does a person go from an A to a D?
Happened to me in 8th grade.
Wait, what? Having a what?
A D? I've always gotten A's in music. How does a person go from an A to a D?
Happened to me in 8th grade.
Yeah.
Hi, welcome to my special guest, executive producer of the Amanda Show, Schneider.
Hi.
Now, you're the producer of the show.
Yes, I'm the executive producer and the head writer.
You actually wrote the words we're saying to each other.
There's the footage.
Yes, I
Dan Schneider asked the band of Binds to do this, conduct the interview while he's fully clothed and she's in the jacuzzi. They're both in the jacuzzi.
Yeah, and then they can turn off the lasers and we can get out of here.
You'd have to be pretty skinny to slide under that laser beam and not hit it.
So which one of us is the flattest?
And stop giggling. Take 4.
Okay. What did the young shrimp say when his mom asked him why he wouldn't share any of his toys?
All right, no. No, that sounded like this. It sounded like, okay. What did the young shrimp say when his mom said he wouldn't share any of his toys? Try it again, but more cat.
Isn't Ariana Grande one of the celebrities that went through some sort of identity crisis? If I'm right about that, does this not prove some sort of correlation with the fact that trauma seems to be a statistical, not anomaly, but a constant in a lot of people that go through those specific identity crises?
Like,
Okay. Oh my
try one more time. Ready?
Getting so close to her and she's uncomfortable.
8:32. Say it. Action.
Okay. What did the young shrimp say?
What did the young shrimp say? It sounded like, what did the young shrimp say? Oh!
You two were fighting, and you yanked Festus right out of his grub truck, and now he's in the hospital.
I just wanted a tamale.
Well, you went and broke his tamale-making arm, so now what? We're sorry. Yeah, well, until Festus is out of the hospital, you two are going to work the grub truck.
Gross!
Trina?
I'm not gonna. Why should I?
Come on, man. You can't see that and say otherwise. You just can't. Tell me, somebody, go ahead and comment, replay crew, whoever ends up seeing this after it sits for a good minute, you tell me that doesn't have some innuendo. You tell me that humor is specifically tuned for children and not creeps. That's a very strange angle for Dan to be taking. That was very disturbing. These are children. Teenagers, children, whatever.
One of the better things I've ever heard.
One of the better things I've ever what?
Hi, what's going on here?
He is clearly.
Why are you sitting on the floor of the set? They are. Did you just bark?
No, I did not.
What's happening back here? Oh, no!
I haven't got my costume on yet. Are we close to rolling?
Sorry. Caught Jerry in a bad mood.
Is it possible for a teenage girl to drink water upside down? I'm thirsty.
All right. She drinks what? Okay. There's no reason to show this shit. So obviously, this guy that you're going to be hearing about time and time again, he made all of, he's the reason many people have nostalgia for Nickelodeon, okay? He was the reason Nickelodeon became the powerhouse that it did and got the Lifetime Achievement Award. But why did Nickelodeon, after an investigation, only after Me Too, which if you think about it, really wasn't terribly long ago, it has the crown of being pre-COVID at the very least, but the only thing that happened after 3 investigations, by the way, throughout this dude's career in Nickelodeon, possibly more, the consequences was a $7 million check. That's the consequence. And all of that. So he says in this stupid fake 19-minute apology video about content like the stuff we have seen that he put on air for children to watch. Well, if it bothers you now, or you think it's inappropriate, just cut it. What good does it do now, Mr. Dan Schneider? He talks early on about wanting to. I was watching it when I saw the hurt in some of their eyes. He didn't start fake crying like that one time. He's like, I wanted to call everybody. I'm like, I had no idea you felt that way. Really? So when you covered up the kid in peanut butter, top to bottom, and let dogs lick him clean, just too much happened. We're far beyond smoke. Dan Schneider is on fire, but I just know the system as it's built is not gonna. Nothing is going to happen. But an example needs to be made. I do believe. Let me change the camera for just a moment, because there is something. Oh yeah, thank you. What's up, Josh? Stuck at Night in the House. Please check him out. Was it? Sorry, Josh. The Nothing Funny Show, right? Sorry, man. I've been out of the loop, brother, and I have not been on the YouTubes too much. Let me look into this thing I sent myself. Here we go. Okay. I got a twofer. I got a twofer that I want to play.
I absolutely love how brutal.
Shh. All right, this first. We can watch the footage. Bear with me, everybody. Well, if it's still going on, man, I still want to be a guest. I miss everybody. All right, check it, people. Check this ish out. This is a good one. Nice mood change at the very least. This chick, whoever she is, Kate Hopkins destroys leftist. You know me. That's clickbait heaven for me at this point.
Brutally honest Katie Hopkins is, and how her honesty can easily trigger the left.
Can I ask you, is there any part of you as a mother of 2 daughters that this is the man who talked about grabbing women by the pussy? Is there any...
Oh God, no. It just every single good thing he ever did is overshadowed by the fact that he said grab him by the puss. Oh, what a terrible human being. Off to the gallows and ignored the Bidens and Hunter. He's an angel. He's an angel. You're a freaking angel, Hunter. An angel. He lives in my closet.
Any part of you that feels this is not my guy? I don't want this guy to be talking like this about any woman.
Sweetie, I would rather be grabbed by the pussy than have a pussy for president.
That's where you enter the little video. Oh, snap. Oh, okay. Now I got another zinger, but I have to cover my sources or something to make me sound overly important. So, remember how I made oh my God. Oh, okay, good. I thought that was Hunter Biden. Nope. That's one of Donald Trump's children. So, okay. Remember earlier, yes, I did make the whole argument that I used to, ironically, on Stuck in the Middle with Josh and our pet Adam. Josh, by the way, every time I talk about Adam, I just say we had a pet named Adam. Where I would literally defend the LGBTQ back in the day, or was I always kind of turfish? I don't know. But I would defend Antifa, BLM back in the day. So, remember how just tonight, not that long ago, I did make the slippery slope correlation here, where look, this is normalized in Hollywood. They made the father who knew that creep that ended up doing terrible things to his son was a creep, and when he said something to the staff at Nickelodeon, they said, "Oh, maybe you're homophobic," right? So obviously, I think it's a strategy. Yes, I this is what I think. My buddy Anthony out there, if you ever watch this, I don't care that you hate that I do this and you think I'm wrong. come on up and prove what you believe to be the truth, okay? I do believe that LGBTQIA blah 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 is absolutely slowly but surely getting their way to allow the MAP community right on board. So with that, you know how I love my hearings. Don't worry, it's not a long one. It's a cringy one though. Let's enjoy the ride.
Genital mutilation has been nearly universally condemned.
Nothing gets the good old attention like a good starting line like genital mutilation, right? I know, I'm ready now. Let's do this.
Genital mutilation has been condemned by the WHO, the United Nations Children's Fund, the United Nations Population Fund. According to the WHO, genital mutilation is recognized internationally as a violation of human rights. Genital mutilation is considered particularly egregious because, as the WHO notes, it is nearly always carried out on minors and is a violation of the rights of children. Most genital mutilation is not typically performed by force, but as WHO notes, that by social convention, social norm, the social pressure to conform, to do what others do and have been doing, as well as the need to be.
I want to thank Artix for having this footage available.
Accepted socially and the fear of being rejected by the community. American culture is now normalizing the idea that minors can be given hormones to prevent their biological development of their secondary sexual characteristics. Dr. Levine, you have supported both allowing minors to be given hormone blockers to prevent them from going through puberty, as well as surgical destruction of a minor's genitalia.
He's totally cool with taking pieces off of kids, but let's get that mask on. All right, that's the priority. In all fairness, I do believe this was during the throes of the scary, terrifying vid that is now clearly recognized as nothing more than a freaking cold.
Like surgical mutilation, hormonal interruption of puberty can permanently alter and prevent secondary sexual characteristics. The American College of Pediatricians reports that 80 to 95% of prepubertal children with gender dysphoria will experience resolution by late adolescence if not exposed to medical intervention and social affirmation. Dr. Levine, do you believe that minors are capable of making such a life-changing decision as changing one's sex?
Well, Senator, thank you for your interest.
Be prepared. I hope everybody has their dancing shoes on, because there's going to be a whole lot of that.
In this question, transgender medicine is a very complex and nuanced field with robust research. And
is the medicine itself transgender? Like, is there now a Tylenol that identifies as I thought it was just kind of universal, right? Like Tylenol is a unisex thing, right? The chicks can use it, the dudes can use it, but now do they have Tylenol for the trans population? Just in case you're not sure if you have a penis or a vagina, or you don't want the one you have, take trans Tylenol so you can feel extra inclusive and self-righteous. Trans Tylenol. Yeah, that's a thing. We're going to do that. I came up with it first. All royalties sent to Dead Progressive, and this is why I am a Dead Progressive, because of this on my screen right now, being the person in charge of America's health. Truth is more terrifying than fiction.
And standards of care that have been developed. And if I am...
By the way, my Tylenol has a total penis, all right? I mean, don't read me wrong. I know that was a very strange statement. I'm just saying, like, I got the masculine Tylenol. I ain't getting no woman Tylenol. Okay, that was just weird. It didn't... I thought it in here, and then when I worked it out, just... Gotta own it.
Fortunate enough to be confirmed as the Assistant Secretary of Health. I would look forward to working with you and your office and coming to your office and discussing the particulars.
Ew. In honor of Josh. Ew. He wants to come to the office. In the office. Ew.
of the standards of care for transgender
Yeah,
medicine.
the specific question was about minors. Let's be a little more specific since you evaded the question. Do you support the government intervening to override the parent's consent to give a child puberty blockers, cross-sex hormones, and/or amputation surgery of breasts and genitalia? You have said that you're willing to accelerate the protocols for street kids. I'm alarmed that poor kids with no parents who are homeless and distraught, you would just go through this and allow that to happen to a minor. I would hope that you would have compassion for Kira Bell, who's a 23-year-old girl who was confused with her identity.
They don't like these stories very much, which is the factual ones.
At 14, she read on the internet about something about transsexual. She thought, well, maybe that's what I am. She ended up getting these puberty blockers, cross-sex hormones. She had her breasts amputated. But here's what ultimately she says now. And this is a very insightful decision from someone who made a mistake, but was led to believe this was a good thing by the medical community. I made a brash decision as a teenager, as a lot of teenagers do, trying to find confidence and happiness, except now the rest of my life will be negatively affected, she said, adding that the medicalized gender transitioning was a very temporary, superficial fix for a very complex identity issue. What I'm alarmed at is that you're not willing to say absolutely minors shouldn't be making decisions to amputate their breast or to amputate their genitalia. For most of our history, we believe that minors don't have full rights and the parents need to be involved. So I'm alarmed that you won't say with certainty that minors should not have the ability to make the decision to take hormones that will affect them for the rest of their life. Will you make a more firm decision on whether or not minors should be involved in these decisions?
Senator, transgender medicine is a very complex and nuanced field. And if confirmed to the position of Assistant Secretary of Health, I would certainly be pleased to come to your office and talk with you and your staff about the standards of care and the complexity of this field.
Let it go into the record that the witness refused to answer the question.
The
question is a very specific one. Should minors be making these momentous decisions? For most of the history of medicine, we wouldn't let you have a cut sewn up in the ER, but you're willing to let a minor take things that prevent their puberty, and you think they get that back? You give a woman testosterone enough that she grows a beard, you think she's going to go back looking like a woman when you stop the testosterone? You have permanently changed them. Infertility is another problem. None of these drugs have been approved for this. They're all being used off-label. I find it ironic that the left that went nuts over hydroxychloroquine being used possibly for COVID are not alarmed that these hormones are being used off-label. There's no long-term studies. We don't know what happens to them. We do know that there are dozens and dozens of people who've been through this who regret that this happened and a permanent change happened to them. And, you know, if you've ever been around children, 14.
Oh, that number has skyrocketed since this, by the way. We are well beyond dozens and dozens.
Year-olds can't make this decision. In the gender dysphoria clinic in England, 10% of the kids are between the ages of 3 and 10. We should be outraged that someone's talking to a 3-year-old about changing their sex.
You got to be shitting me, dude. This is why sometimes jumping into the past is necessary. I mean, we have to learn from it, right? And this was not far enough ago. And I wish it would be far enough ago to where we learned and made legislation. So that, and I know that that's an example from the UK, but we know some of these blue states, California and other states, just watch Matt Walsh's What is a Woman, that will allow children to make the most heinous, the hugest, most irresponsible decisions that are final and not give a shit what the parents think, because that is infringing on the child's rights. What's wrong with that statement? The parents no longer have the concern of their own kids' autonomy, because the DNC has now, like, when I heard him say transgender, or the other one, say transgender medicine. So now we got the DNC or the left bias with media, with the narrative in general, and always being the ones that have the greater good at heart. And they even have their own medicine now. Huh? Yeah. Vaccines and transgender medicine. Or there's yeah. It's just radical left. It's got its own pocket, and that pocket is growing far too large. The pendulum has to swing back. Trump 2024.
I can't
Thank-
vote for you if you can't
Thank
make
you
a
so
decision.
much, Senator Paul. Senator Levine, thank you for answering the question. I will.
The hell out of here. Thank you for answering the question, my ass. All right. What's up? Okay. Children don't have full rights. I hope that is continually the case. Just imagine the rot pocket. Oh, God, I'd rather not. Thank you kindly. Anyway, let me see. Let me catch up with y'all right quick. This guy's a bummer. All they want to do is chop off some talls, man. Just like if I'm allowed to have my masculine Tylenol, remember Eli, that didn't land earlier, but doubled down anyway. If I want gender specific Tylenol, and I want trans people want their own bathrooms, I can have my own Tylenol headache medicine that is unisex, but I want it advertised as such, so I feel more inclusive. But yeah, man, we just want to get rid of get rid of those talls. How do you say genitals in a cool way? Like, hey, bro, how's it hanging? Nope, too obvious. How's the genitals today, guys, or lack thereof, depending on how you vote. Bro, hey, what's up, Ajot? Good to see you. Thank you. By the way, that was a nice little show that you had going on there earlier. Okay, I had the itch, which I'm gonna get checked out in the morning to get on with the getting on, mostly because of Dan Schneider. And again, remember, please feel free. You have to. I compel you. The power that I don't have compels you. Watch Off the Set on HBO Max. Get an idea of what the monster and the abyss looks like. Just don't get lost in it, of course. But there's more names that are given that bear looking into. We know that there were 50 people that wanted to take the side of a known Play-Doh individual who served 6 years, who was about to serve 6 years. And the confession is grotesque, man. It is absolutely 100% just gut churning, vomit inducing. But 41 of them wrote letters standing up for his character. And they actually read some of the excerpts in the documentary itself. And some of those are, I'm sure that Brian, whatever his name is, Brian Cap, Sap, whatever, he must have been pushed into a corner to do such a thing. They defended the assaulter and blamed Drake, the victim. I'm proud of. I wasn't a Jake and Josh fan back in the day. I didn't watch it, but seeing that kid made it through what he did. No, let me pull a Dan Schneider from his apology. Seeing what that kid went ahead and survived, I just, and then just, it suddenly wears off. No, but in all sincerity, that man Drake is an absolute survivor, and I hope more people come forward and that the truth continues to be a beacon. Because that's the only beacon of hope we have left these days, is the truth and our pursuit of seeing what's right get done, and not allow any more quote unquote Time Magazine shadow cabals take over our own democracy. And until I see something better than Trump, we got to make sure that man can win, because I think our tax dollars have spent more than enough on ensuring that we all hate him, and it hasn't worked. So, you know where I stand. I guess I'm considered hashtag walk away, since I used to be a Democrat and I'm not anymore. So that's me. We need names to compartmentalize everything, and that's that. So with that being said, thank you, Shamrock, Maxwell, Josh's very own, Stuck in the Middle, Stuck at Night, and Nothing Funny. Check it out. They're awesome. Josh is awesome, and I miss Josh. Okay, it's enough. It's enough. Who did I miss? Base Girl, I don't know if you're still here. Ajot, to anybody, and the replay crew. C-Fouls, take care, brother. Replay crew, much love to you. I'm going to go be a Jew. Peace out to Boo. Good night.